Hello, my name is Russ Keach with a company called Cantastic out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and I service routes software solution for garbage can cleaners. Today, we've got Cole McCauley from Clean the Cans in Boise, Idaho, and Jamison Proctor with Squeaky Clean Cans from San Clemente, California. So let me just give you a quick background on how us three landed on this call. Really, about probably 6, 7 months ago, I got a phone call from an individual, Cole, that was looking to buy a truck. And he actually came out and started knocking doors for me here in Utah. And he was going to BYU. And at that time, he started knocking doors and started putting orders in quicker than anyone that's ever knocked doors for me. And I've knocked doors and I haven't had those kind of results. And right away, I was kind of like taken back, like, wow, this guy, and he's going to be getting out of BYU here soon, heading up to Boise. So I thought, wow, this guy's going to slaughter it. But I didn't actually look at any of his results until about a week ago. Jamison started using our software a couple months ago, and he sent me a message maybe 3 or 4 days ago that just said, "Hey, I'm looking at some of the marketing strategies I'm doing. I wonder if you have about 10 minutes to talk about some of these strategies." And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm actually going to record a call reviewing 40 strategies. So come on and ask me some questions." We recorded that call yesterday. It went very well. And at the end, I found out that he was doing a lot of door knocking. And we were just getting ready to talk to Cole about his experience door knocking. And I said, "Jameson, you got to come on because the questions that you're asking me are excellent. And I think you'd have an enjoyable time asking Cole about some of his results." So I'm going to open this up to Cole. But before I do, I just want to throw out there that I noticed in your enterprise, it looks like your first route was run on May 2nd. Today is September 19th. So in about 4 month time period, right now you currently have 775 active customers. You've had a total of 841 customers. Some of those are archived, so maybe those are one-time customers, but those kind of numbers are not very typical. I talk to garbage can cleaners every day, and I talk to people that have been in business for 1, 2, 3, 4 years that only have a couple hundred customers. So I've already told a few people about how you've done. You've got 800 customers in less than, well, around 4 months. And hats off to you, Cole. So we're going to turn the call over to you, Cole, to kind of talk a little bit about what your background and what you've kind of done to get to this point.
Sure, yeah. I'll just share a little and then maybe Jamison if you have any specific questions. But basically, my this is actually trash can washing. I did it in high school to kind of make some money for college and for a mission for my church. And I went door to door and I just washed people's trash cans with a power sprayer. Um, After I graduated high school, got back from my mission, I sold pest control door to door. And that's where I really honed in my door to door skills and really got the idea for using a pest control model with trash can washing service. So, what we'll be talking about is honestly, it's very typical of a pest control company where they'll bring out a bunch of sales reps. They'll have a team that will hit it hard. They'll give them a percent. They'll pay a guy to manage, and then the service schedule is honestly pretty the same. They'll uh, have people sign up for quarterly schedules. But what I found with pest control, it was a uh, very competitive market and very oversaturated. And tons of people were going off and starting their own pest control companies. But I was like, you know what? I'd like to do trash can washing in high school. I could do this same thing, this same pest control strategy with the trash can washing. So that was kind of the seed for the idea. And then I went out and just before even starting the business, knocked on a bunch of doors in Idaho and just asked people if they'd be interested. Got some names, numbers, got some good overall feedback. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna look into this more. Um, but yeah, as I was shopping, I ran into Russ. He helped me get set up with the truck and like a trash can specific software. There's a bunch of little like niche things that iService Routes lets you do that you look into like Jobatory and some of these House Call Pro that they're not made for trash can washing. Um, it's been a fun journey, and yeah, Russ has been awesome in helping me get set up. But yeah, Jamison, did you have a question?
Yeah, we made a joke before we recorded the call that we're like brothers or twins or something. We're super identical. And as I'm listening to your story, I'm in my head thinking this is where I've been thinking the last couple of months is I had so many friends go out and sell pest control or solar, and I was like, every time they went out and told me I made $80,000 in 3 months, I go, that's cool that you made $80,000, but what's the guy at the top of the food chain making? That's crazy. And so I was like, I want to make a solar company or a pest control company. I was like, well, I can't. Like, there's hundreds of those already. Like, there's no point in trying to go up against Apple or Google. Like, you're not going to go up against Sunrun or Moxie Pest Control. They're huge across the entire country. So I was like, what are these other niche ones? Garbage can cleaning. I moved to California in the spring, and I was like, there's one company that, I mean, in my little, 5 mile diameter, there's hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of homes, and there's one company that does it. I'm like, oh, this isn't saturated at all. There's enough people to go around. So that's exactly what I did. And I guess I'm way far back from you. I only have maybe 60 to 80. I don't know the exact number of accounts, reoccurring subscriptions. When you go out and do door to door, do you have other people that go out with you? Because when I go out and do door to door, it's sometimes I go out and I get, 13 or 14 and between 4 and 8. Sometimes yesterday I went out from 6 to 8 and I got 0. So I guess how many people go out with you, if there are any, and then what times the days do you like to go out and knock?
Yeah, so I would say if you're going out from 4 to 8 and you're getting 14 to 15 customers, like that is awesome. And just run with that day after day after day. I would go out with 2 or 3, like actually honestly 1 or 2 other people. A lot of them were just high schoolers. It's a pretty simple product to sell. And so for the majority of the summer, it was like me, one high schooler, and then I hired someone to wash the cans. And so all I was doing, knocking on the door, hey, we're here washing the trash cans, yes or no. Um, it's obviously the pitch is a little more complicated than that, but the idea would be I would go out for an evening and yeah, a good day, I would probably get 20 to 25 customers between me and the high schoolers. To be honest, I would get over the summer, over of those 820 accounts. Oh, yeah, a few of them one timers, a few of them submitted orders but never actually got serviced. I probably sold about 600 of the 800. So I personally did sell the majority. But we're talking 1 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Pretty much every single day of summer. And those were hours that I just got used to with pest control. Door to door just is really hard work. And if you talk to anyone who's like, yeah, I just went out that summer. It was awful, but yeah, I made 80,000. They're knocking every single day, long hours. And so just keep the long hours every single day, and then having someone to wash the cans so you can just sell.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
A couple questions off of that. Where did you find the person? Did you know the person that you hired to go out and clean, or did you pick this person up off of Indeed or something like that?
Indeed. So I ran an Indeed ad, and within 2 days, I'd gotten 70 applicants. I interviewed a couple people. Honestly, though, we moved pretty quickly. We had a guy from Indeed, and there's tons of people. If we wanted to, the first guy I didn't love. So we only used him for a little. My wife, actually, my now wife, fiance at the time, she was like, she was originally door knocking, and she said, "I'm to heck with door knocking. This is miserable. I want to run the machine." So she actually ran the machine for a period of time. Then we went back, hired another person from Indeed.
Did
Cool.
you say 70 or 17? Sorry, 70 people responded?
70 people. You can get a ton of people from Indeed, just raw applicants.
Cool. Do you pay these drivers hourly or do you give them like a salary?
I pay them hourly for now, at least. So I ran it, and then I actually moved back to Utah, where I'm at right now, and I'm going to school, and I'm just paying him remotely and through the iRoute software. It's really easy to just say, "Hey, here's the people for this week." The nature of door-to-door sales, though, some days you sell more, some days you sell less, and some weeks I was out of town, and so I'll text him his schedule every Saturday, and I'll say, "Hey, Monday you have 27 clients, nothing Tuesday, nothing Wednesday. Thursday you have 22 clients. Friday you have however many." But I just texted the schedule for the week, so especially where I'm still not filling a schedule, I like hourly as opposed to salary.
Yeah. Back on door to door, when you bring these high schoolers out, I'm doing the same thing. I'm assuming you paid them like a commission based on if they sold an account. What is that commission? What kind of pay structure did you have for these sales guys that you brought out?
So, here is I'll answer that question and kind of give you, in my mind, one of the big successes. I would offer the first service for free a lot of times. Only about 50% of the time did I offer the first service for free, but that is awesome for getting people over the edge of just saying, "Hey, we'll do the first service for free. There's no contract with it either. We just ask you at least stay for a couple services." And then I would pay the sales rep $25 if he sold it for the first time free, $35 if he sold the first service for full price. I would just give the high schooler the money up front. And honestly, I probably won't pay them the same way this time, because then they can just lie, say whatever they want, and then they get a sale and the customer cancels. For the most part, though, I haven't had bad cancellation, and I hope that the lifetime value of the customer is more than $25 or $35. So.
Yeah. What would you switch it to now? You said you probably wouldn't do that going forward. What would be your revised?
So I had a college guy who I brought out, and I paid him 1%. So I paid him 40%, and that's what I would do. I would give him 40% in the form of a back end, where he gets 40% come January and he gets paid on any of his customers who haven't canceled. Then I just pay him kind of, this year at least, I just paid him an arbitrary amount up front, where I said, "Hey, look, I owe you $5,000 come January. I'm just going to pay you $2,000 now." And then come January, say that 5,000 ticks down to 4,000. I've already paid him 2,000. I'd give him $2,000 as a back end. That's probably what I would do, so that I can kind of let the high schooler or the sales rep say, hey, you can kind of say whatever you, if the person really doesn't want to agree to multiple services, you can just sign them up and see if they stay on. If they stay on, you get paid. If they don't, you don't get paid. That way the sales rep just takes the risk of, if it's a really sketchy account and they push hard to get it, I just pay them if the customer stays a good customer.
So you're saying that when you say like they'll come out, like they come out and knock for a week, they make like with the total, you're just saying adding up all of like the first months, like that 5,000 that you said, would that just be like all like the revenue from those first months, or reoccurring? Or
Yeah, I'll clarify that. I'll pay them 40% of a year's worth of services.
okay.
So if customer A, it's $25 a quarter, so that's $100. I'll give them $40 for that customer, and then I'll pay them $40 come January 31st. And I may kind of toss them like some money up front. But if they say sell $5,000 worth of yearly revenue, I'll give them, some money up front, but the majority of the money they make in the form of a back end.
Is that how pest control was structured when you went out and knocked?
Pest control was, but other than that, yes, I would get $50 when I first sold it, $100 when I first sold it. Overall, though, I'd get like most of the money come January for people who haven't canceled.
So this is the system that I have set up right now with my sales guys. I'm flying out first weekend in October. I'm flying out 3 guys that spent the entire summer in Georgia selling for Moxie Pest Control. So they're gonna stay at my house with me. We're gonna golf Friday morning, knock Friday from 12 to 8, and then knock all day Saturday with these 3 guys. And then I'll probably bring another high schooler out. And so we'll probably have 5 or 6 guys all throughout my service area knocking. What the structure that I have currently, and that I've told them, I want to see if you can think of any red flags, or if you would recommend me switching over to this type of pay schedule. But I just have them, if they sell an account, our quarterly account starts at $50, which includes 2 cans. Any additional can is just $5. If they sold that account to someone, I would give them, say it was just 2 cans on a quarterly service, I would just give them the $50. So the 100% of that first month service. And then I would keep month 2, month 3, month 4, month whatever. They would only get that though if they stayed for 3 months. If they got it that first month and then they canceled right after that first month, I wouldn't give them that the rest of the months. What do you say to that? Would you recommend that, or would you say I can see some problems, try this instead?
So if I'm the sales rep, I go out, I sell an account, and you're saying majority of your customers are $50 a month for 2 cans, or how much is the customer paying?
It's $50 every quarter. So like a quarterly service is $50, a bi-monthly service is 40, and a monthly service is 27.
Okay. And so you are paying the sales rep all the money up front. So say the customer pays for that first quarter, you give the sales rep $50. Say quarter number 2, say you text out the customers and you're saying, this is your next go round. And you're saying, hey, we're coming back by to clean your cans. And that customer says, wait, I thought it was only a one-time service. Or like, I don't want this service. Like, please cancel me immediately. It's 3 months after the sales rep had first sold the account. In your current scenario, what would happen?
So I was thinking of just because this is just kind of what I assume that like like pest control does, is that they don't really pay you until the end of the summer after all the accounts have like gone through and been processed and the company's made their money worth. And so I was going to do the same thing where I would give them like a small percentage up front for just like their services. Like I know that not all of those are going to probably cancel, so I'll take a risk and send them each like $1,000. But say they sold $5,000 worth of like first month services in total, I would send them like $1,000, and then as quarter two comes around, all of those monthlies have been serviced 3 times. The bi-monthlies have been serviced once or twice, and then the quarterlies have gone through their second run around. So then after that third month, I would even up with everyone and say, hey, these are all of your accounts that canceled. These are all the accounts that stayed. Your new total is $4,500. I already paid you $1,000. Here's the rest. And so they would get their whole money's worth after 3 months.
Yeah, I think that's a great solution. That's the idea. Is you want to give them the money after you've made sure that they are a solid customer.
Okay.
Hey,
Do you
Jamison,
think?
what is the
Yeah,
date
go
on
ahead.
that? I think Cole might want to fly out and knock doors with you guys on that Saturday.
Yeah, come out. Hey,
True.
if you're flying breeze from Provo to John Wayne, I'll come pick you up. You can stay with us. It'd be fun. No, seriously, I think it's not a hard sell, like you said. I take 15-year-olds out, and parents will sign up just because they want to support a 15-year-old.
Right.
You know, I stand behind them most of the time and only interject if they're saying absolute garbage that's not true. I'm like, wait, we don't do that. Hold on. But no, they're awesome. They go out, and I mean, I'll take them. I'll say, hey, if we can get 15 tonight, I'll take everyone out to Wingstop, and they'll work their butts off. They're running in between doors, and they'll get their 15 accounts set up, and then we'll go out to Wingstop and celebrate. But I think door knocking is so good. I'm just a novice at it. I'm so bad at door knocking, and I don't mind getting in front of people. I just don't know what to say. This is the kind of segues into my next couple of questions, if you don't mind. But when someone objects, I like the idea of doing the first service for free, because a lot of people are like, I don't know, like, but if you just say, hey, we'll do it for free, we'll come by this Wednesday, I think that's genius. But I haven't been doing that, and kind of what I've been running into is there's like 3 main objections. Is I don't really see the need for it. Number 2 is, oh crap, I had them all. I should have written them down. But I don't really see the need.
Give them to you. I know the objections by heart. So
yeah.
Yeah, I would say your biggest objections are just going to be the easy one is going to be they're not super dirty right now. Like,
yeah.
I just moved in, like they're not too bad right now, but come by later or reach back out to me and I'll totally sign up. But what's never gonna, like, if you give them a card, they're never gonna call you. And so that's where the first time free is really awesome. You just say, okay, no problem. I'll tell you what. And I always love same day services. My trucks, because our truck's like right down the street, I'll just wash your can for free today, just so you can see the process and you can get an idea for how it works. And then your first real service will be, and then I just kind of say the next one. Your first real service will be kind of towards the end of fall, which is when you want it the most anyway. Does that work if we just wash it for free while we're here? Most of the time they're like, sure. You're like, perfect, okay. And then through the ISR system, they scan a little QR code, and then you give them the first time free. So that's, in my mind, the easiest way to overcome they're not super dirty right now objection. Any questions with that, or I could go to a couple others?
I'm assuming you have your own, I saw on your reseller, you have your own QR code that you would scan on the door and then walk them through the checkout page. Say, oh, I want it in a quarter. And then you walk them through the checkout page. They grab their card. You do the first time for free, but in 3 months, you send them a text, hey, we're coming today. And then you bill that next one. Is that how it works for you?
Actually, something I highly recommend is I tell the customer first time free, we'll just clean it for free while we're here, and they're saying sweet. As I'm walking them through it, I'm like, all right, perfect, name. So, okay, normally we'll do quarterly, name everything. I actually, instead of giving them the first time free, I give them their first time like 97% discounted so that the first service ends up still being like $2. And I show that and I'm like, oh, also, um, if it's all right with you for today's service, it still does charge like $2 just to make sure your card works correctly. Is that okay with you? And like literally almost 100% of the time, they're like, totally fine, $2, no big deal. And that's a really easy way to get them to go grab their credit card so that you can put it in the system,
Mm.
you can validate their card and make sure it actually works. Because otherwise, what they're going to say is, oh, well, this one's free. Just when you stop back around next time, then I'll give you my credit card information. I kind of like the $2 excuse to just because it gives me an excuse to get their card information right then.
Genius. Okay.
Love
Genius. I love that. That's so
Yeah.
smart. And then what other objections do you find that because that's the kind of thing that I'm running through right now is what do I say to overcome these objections? Some of these other sales guys say, hey, just the first objection, just brush it off like they didn't even ask it and keep going. I'm not very good at doing that. Like, what are some tips? Garbage can cleaning, knocking master. Would you give me?
So I would say just try to figure out if it's a real objection or if it's a fake objection. So one objection may be, yeah, let me check with my husband.
Yeah.
Like that could be a very real objection, and she really does want to just like run it by her husband to make sure. But a lot of times she's just not sold on the service itself. She doesn't really know why she wants her trash cans cleaned. So if you can get to the bottom of what does she really want, then you can answer that objection specifically. So rather than answering, oh, well, it's okay, we'll come back when your husband's here, that's not her real problem. Her real problem is she doesn't know that she wants this service. But if you can kind of get through it, she is interested. Oh, that sounds like a cool service. I just need to run it by my husband. Then you can answer that objection. So, the by the way, the answer in my mind to most of these objections, first time free. Hey, let me check with my husband. It's like, okay, that's totally fine. Check with your husband. Because we're already in the neighborhood, we could do the first service for free while we're already here. Like I said, it's just this much per quarter. So if you're okay with us cleaning for free, just so you can see how it is, if your husband comes home and he's like, oh, I hate this service, I don't want it, our only request is you stay for at least like 1 or 2 paid services. But as long as you're okay with that, if your husband doesn't want it, then you get 2 services for the cost of one. I would say first time free is an easy way to go through most of those objections. And I have found, I said that to a ton of people. I've had very few cancel. I've actually, yeah, I've had probably less than 10 actually cancel because they're like, yeah, we decided we don't want the service. So it's like
10 out of 800. That's fine.
Yeah, that's minimal.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're kind of like, you're approaching this as let's just get people in our system and they're not going to not like the service. They're not going to like hate their garbage cans being clean. The next time when they go to grab their handle on the garbage can, there's not going to be spider webs. They're going to enjoy that. They're probably not going to cancel. They might even forget that they're paying for it. Almost like a Netflix subscription. We're just going to come remind them to leave them out kind of thing and hope that they're not going to cancel, and they're probably not going to, right?
Right. Yeah. I would definitely say most people just enjoy the service. Like I have yet to have someone complain about the actual can washing aspect, and I'm sure it'll happen. But the guy I hired does a great job of getting them cleaned. And like with these other services like pest control, there's a ton of weird things going into it. But trash can washing, it's like, I want my can cleaned. It's very clear expectation from the customer that you can meet every time.
Yeah. So what's your current system? Do you have one truck? Do you have two trucks? What's your kind of goal in the next couple of months? Where do you want to be?
So I have one truck. Um, we have 800 customers or so. I would say one truck. If everyone's quarterly, I've kind of said around 2,000 customers is how many one truck could handle. Um, I want to get a second truck this summer. I feel like this last summer was me wanting to prove to myself door to door trash can washing can work. This next summer is going to be me coming out with a bigger group of guys and hitting it harder this next summer is why I want a second truck.
It's going to be full on war. You're going to be at 2,000, 3,000 customers by the end of next year.
That's honestly, that's the goal. Yeah.
So next year, this summer, you want like a full team out knocking every day sort of thing, or and then having two trucks, 3,000 customers.
Yeah. Well, and again, like I was pretty busy this summer. Like we could pull up my actually, David, do you want to pull up my chart real quick of kind of the growth?
I thought you were going to say you're busy because you got married.
Yeah. So if you look at the growth, so started in May, then June, July, August, I had a wedding and a honeymoon and wedding prepping. So we kind of just stagnated from July over to August. But in my mind, a full summer, and I had some high schoolers who would knock a couple of days of the week, but I was pretty much the main I was very consistent on I'm going to do this every day from this time to this time, no matter how bad no matter how tough it is. My hope is with only 3 or 4 college guys who are same schedule as me, knocking the whole day. I really do think we could fill 2 trucks worth of schedules in a summer. So.
Hey, real quick, Cole, you just said something that I just wrote down. You said you went out and knocked no matter how tough it is. Quoted by Cole. Now, a lot of these, I talk to garbage can cleaners all the time. I've talked to thousands over the last 8, 9 years. And when I bring up door knocking, 95% of them are like, oh, I don't like knocking doors. I don't like getting rejection. I hate knocking the doors because nobody's home. Door knocking is not for me. And I think you're setting a precedence right now for our whole entire industry because there's a lot of people getting out of the industry that just they don't have the business skills to stay in business. They don't have enough customers to pay their truck payment or their trailer payment. And they don't understand what you just said, no matter how tough it is. Can you just talk to any of these can cleaners that might listen to this that just they don't want to knock doors, they're trying other things, they're spinning their wheels, but you have honed in on something that is amazing that you can go out day after day, get rejected, knock on doors that people don't answer, and you can overcome these rejections. Can you speak to that? How do you teach that to somebody, and especially another can cleaner out there that's going to listen to this, and you're going to be their inspiration to go get this done?
Yeah. To that, I would say, in large part, it's just a numbers game. Where if you are going out for like 2 hours twice a week, and you're like, dang, I'm not having any success. It's like, try 1 week of just going from like 1 o'clock till 8 p.m. every single day, all week long. And you you will get customers. Just saying, hey, I wash out trash cans. Do you want your trash cans washed? It's like as you go along, you can perfect that pitch and you can start getting more and more customers. But people want their trash cans washed. If you just go up to them and ask them if they want them washed, if you ask enough people, they will want it washed. I would say you just need to get into that mentality of, yeah, I know no one signed up for the last 3 hours, but I work 6, 8 hour days. And I know just from prior experience, and I know from um, just, I've done my best to kind of learn yeah, I know just based on the industry, um, if I just stay out here the full 8 hours, I'll at least get this many people. Um,
Awesome.
One other thing I'll kind of speak to that. This is kind of off topic, but just a little hack that I found as well is obviously the long-term goal is you don't love door knocking. It's kind of um, it's tough. You want your website to be at the top. Well, what you can do when you're knocking on a door is rather than have them sign up through the QR code, if you're the owner and you don't need to track it. So Jamison, this is something I'd recommend for you. Say, all right, perfect. I'll do it through your phone. Do you have your phone? Okay, can you search and then have them search your business name just on Google and then click on it from their phone? And then if you're getting, a decent amount of people searching your company name and clicking on your website, it'll just boost your website. And so the door knocking aspect is going to boost your organic website growth as well. But yeah, it does just take hard work, but then both help each other.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, I think this has been incredible. Your questions, Jamison, are great. If you have more questions, I'd love to hear them. But at some point, we will transition over, if you're okay, Cole, is showing some of your actual URLs that are associated with the QR codes. Do you have more questions, Jamison, at this point for them, or should we transition over to that now?
Let's transition. Sorry, I've been taking a lot of time.
Oh, this is awesome. This is perfect. Love it.
Hey, Russ, before we leave this screen, I just wanted to show something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take out the active, so the green are the active, and just leave these archived. So these archived, Russ, tell them how you drip market to your archived accounts real quick while we're here.
Okay. Yeah. So the archived people end up in a message menu that you can either send emails or text messages to. And so I'm sure some of my customers are annoyed by me. I don't send my archived text messages because if they send a stop, you're done. You can't send them text messages anymore. So I just send them emails. And you know what? If I had a line graph that had the temperature in Utah, that email going out, the dollar amount that comes in would be on track with the temperature. I can send an email out in April and make about $4,000 to $5,000. I can send out an email in July or August and make about $12,000. And then the same thing when it gets to the fall, the temperature goes back down. I'm back down to the 4,000 to 5,000. But I'm emailing about 7,400 archived customers, those customers that have experienced a one-time cleaning. And my emails are very simple. They just simply say, like, for example, the one we just did was back to school. Hey, the kids are back in school. We're out doing cleanings in your neighborhood soon. Click on this URL and sign up. It's that simple. And then it tracks all the clicks, how many orders, and the dollar value that is brought in from that URL. So yeah, any excuse you can email your customers. Back to school, Valentine's Day, Happy Halloween, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Any opportunity that comes up, we're kind of like these furniture stores that always have an excuse to do commercials. We do the same thing with all the holidays. So it's pretty fun. We have fun with it. But yeah, the archived, they're a gold mine.
Sweet. Yeah. So basically with this section, I think I don't know if you had any specific questions. I just kind of wanted to share how easy it is through here, the iReseller, to just make anyone wants to knock. Like you can look at some of these people, like Brooklyn. Um, that's my little sister. She was like, let's go try it out for a day. You know, she goes on one day, she gets 3 sales, um, versus me, the cold sales side. That was me all summer. Um, and then um, if you look, Nate sales, Abram sales, those are guys who stayed on longer through the summer. But it's really easy to just make a profile for your salesman, track every single one of their sales. It's listed out, like here's their name, here's the date, here's how much you earned for a specific one. Really cool part of it too is you can pay them different percents based on different frequency. For example, I could pay him 40% for a quarterly customer, but then pay him 30% for a monthly customer. And I kind of like that because I'd rather pay him a little less for a monthly and a bi-monthly because I'm gonna have to go out there and service them a lot more, as opposed to quarterly where most of it's profit anyway. So I love how customizable it is and how easy it is to track how much everyone's made. The moment I archive them, then it will go into their list of sales and it will say, hey, this person's archived. It will bring their commission down to 0. And you can even customize if it's payable or not. So it will say, here's the customer, the commission's $58 on this account. And then it will mark it as payable or pending, depending on your criteria. You can say, hey, I want to at least have received $58 and then mark this one as payable. So basically this system has just been really helpful for tracking all my salesmen's sales and how much I should be paying them.
So Jamison, you can see on these cleanthecans.com, we actually host Cole's domain on our stack, and he's got the custom template site, so it's actually integrated a little bit easier. But we can do this with your site as well. If you host it elsewhere, there's just a little bit of development involved, and it's called embedding. So you can still take advantage of iReseller even if you're hosting the site independent. So if you can't get through that and figure it out, just schedule some time with me and through Catherine, and I'll help you get the coding done on it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I think I do host it elsewhere, but I definitely will figure that out because that's great. You track everything because, like I said, I'm having these 3 guys come out. This is going to make it a trillion times easier to track everything and keep track of what they do sell and how much they sell and what I owe them. So that's genius.
This honestly for me was my selling point for using iService routes in general, is because their process for keeping track of the sales reps sales is really simple. And then I just share this information with the sales rep so he can see kind of along the way if people cancel. And I give him full reign to go reach out to these people if they canceled and, try to get them back on, as opposed to just the year comes by and I'm like, all right, here's how much I owe you is this much. And he's like, wait, where is that number coming from? It also really builds trust with the sales reps when they can see the individual customers that they've sold.
When someone cancels and you archive them, you said it will automatically deduct that total out of their sales.
It will. I believe that's at least how I have it set up. But yes, it will basically say this person, and then if you go over it, will say archived. We'll even have the note when you archived them. So, hey, this customer moved to Kansas and wants to stop their cleaning. That will actually even show up under that line item for that customer. so the sales rep can see, oh, that's why this person canceled.
Cool.
Got it. Hey, real quick, Cole, on there's a QR code associated to every one of these URLs, and our drivers we give them a sales rep status, and then we also give them a QR code, as you can see right here. Now, these QR codes, we just make our drivers 1,000 business cards when they first start. It's got our logo, it's got their name, it's got the QR code. How are your guys that are going out that have the QR code? Are they using the QR code, and are they giving the customer that to scan? So they're signing them up on their own phone, or are you signing them up on your phone? How does that whole process work?
So I can actually, I'll show you on my phone really quickly. So I basically do say I've got my QR code right here for the individual customer. If they look just young and smart and just like, then I just would have them scan it. And then as they're filling it in, they don't even have to type in their name or anything. If it's on their phone, autofill will do all the work. They just click, boom. A lot of times they even get to the end and their credit card's saved, and they just click a button, scan a face, and they're done. That being said, if the person doesn't look too tech savvy, I'm like, sweet. While we're here, let me just sign you up. If you just hold it down, hold down the QR code itself, I can just open the same QR code from my phone, and then sign someone up through here. So most of the time, I love to just have them scan it. But if I'm ever like, I don't want this process to take longer, you don't want the person like, okay, my name is Mike. I'd rather, okay, just ask them the questions and do it myself.
Yeah, perfect. Oh man,
How do you with QR code? You said you do like a 97% off. How do you, if you just go straight to the website, is there like a promo code that you put in that gives them the 90% off, or do you have an extra QR code?
So you have through this QR code, let me show you. So say I sign them up for quarterly service. Say they have 2 trash cans. I get to the screen, promo code, and then I can make a promo code. So for me, the promo code is just Cole. You can make it whatever you want. And then if you enter it, you press next, and it gives them the promo. You press skip, then it doesn't give them the promo code. And it just is a full price service.
Gotcha. So you have like a setup thing in iReseller for 97% off monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, promo code Cole. If you offer the first service, you just type in Cole as you're checking them out, and then it charges them $2-3 so that they get their credit. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and I can even show you what that looks like here. So then I typed in the promo code, you go through here, and then you get to this spot, and then this will give them a one-time credit of $38, so it'll charge like $4 if they have 2 cans for their first service.
Sweet.
And then if I hadn't had typed that in, then it would just charge them the full 42.
Awesome.
Sweet. Well, that's good to see. I'm sure, Dave, you're looking at that and saying, man, look at this beautiful software at work that you put all these years and years of effort into. So that's awesome to see that being used that way, Cole. Good job.
I'm looking at that and thinking, there was that cool feature that Cole wanted that we didn't get in that would have made that even better. But
True. Yes.
Add it to the top of the priority list. Let's get her done. Sweet.
this
Sweet.
priority list is like Mount Everest, and you can never get to the top of the dang thing.
Yeah, and when you think you get to the top, you get drilled by an avalanche. Sorry, you were saying something else?
Oh, I was just saying, David is the programming wizard. I'll like talk to him about something, and then he's like, "Oh yeah," and then like just he'll do his thing in just a little bit. I'm like, "Wow, that is amazing!" Like, I'm talking about the processing orders specifically. Like he made it so you can just process like 15, 20 orders all at the same time. That update was just awesome. So it's been really fun to see these updates happen.
Well, the hilarious thing, Jameson, is no other customer ever has 15 orders they need to process at the same time.
Yeah.
Cole was the first one, so
Yeah. It's cool to be a part of like the ice service routes like customer base, because I have never seen another product or software where you can ask for something or give feedback and it actually be taken into account and actually implemented. I feel like nowadays it's just they don't listen to people. So I think this is really cool to like be able to have this open, like, hey, this should be added. Could you work on this? And it's like, yeah. And all these things get accounted for. So I think it's really cool.
that was the main design of the business. When we get to the point where we can't take your product ideas anymore, we'll probably go build something for raising cows or some other industry.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, and just on that point, Jamison and I were talking earlier about how, David, your daughter, Catherine, like anytime we have a question, um, I'll, I'll literally just shoot an email or a text like, hey, how do I, um, serve, like with Labor Day, everything being a day behind, like, how do I navigate that? And she's like, let's set up a call in 30 minutes and I'll walk you through the whole thing. And it's like, it's the, that's also been a really, really life-saving.
We lucked
Many
we lucked out with her, not just because she's my daughter, but she's got some technical skills that are just off the charts, and plus she's got better people skills than Russ and I put together. So I'll tell her you said that.
Sometimes it's within like 5 minutes and she'll be like, got it fixed, or here's a video explaining what you just asked. Like, this is great. This is awesome.
Sweet. Well, I'm gonna leave this with one more question for Jamison and for Cole. Is so there's a big thing in business, and it's called momentum. And you guys have both experienced it, witnessed it, and there's a lot of companies that have felt it. But there's momentum shifts, kind of like a sporting event in a football game or whatever. There are moments in football games where you can feel this momentum shift. So I'm going to leave this, give this answer, and then we'll end this call. But in each of your businesses, maybe we'll start with Jamison and then go to Cole. How has door knocking helped you in your momentum? Or, maybe there's been times where it's discouraging or hard, where you just, you want to give up. But how can you or a can cleaner go out and use door knocking to build momentum in their business?
I don't have as much experience as Cole has, but with the little experience that I do have in door knocking, I found that it is a huge momentum builder. It's super hard, and so when you do find success, it boosts your morale and you just get fired up and you want to keep going and keep going and keep going. So it will build momentum in that moment, but it also builds, like you could see from Cole's graph, it also builds momentum. I've seen it in the little accounts that I have. I've seen it build momentum overall in your business month to month. Our first week, we got 50 accounts, but I attribute that all to going out and door knocking every single day, being consistent, like Cole said a couple times today. And so it gives you momentum day to day, but it also gives you momentum month to month. And it sucks in the time and it sucks in the moment. But door knocking is really the only place that I've seen. I've tried to go into other avenues of marketing and getting customers, but door knocking is the only one that you can really dictate what you get. You're gonna go get people. You just have to put in the work. Whereas if you throw $10 at an Instagram ad, you just cross your fingers and hope that you can get one or two people. You can't really control it. But door knocking, you can totally control it. It's just all based on time spent on the doors.
Awesome.
And yeah, just to go off what Jamison said, I would say the biggest benefit of door knocking is exactly that. You can control it. You, if you're like, you know what, I want to get, 5 accounts a day or 10 accounts a day, like you can just go out and you can work until you do it. You can talk to people until you get that many people to sign up. I would say, along with momentum, like you get people, they talk to their friends, they get more people. You have people sign up through your website. All of a sudden, it's boosting your website. You have people searching your website because they like have questions after the fact. Again, it boosts your website. So momentum is a great word, because yeah, along with what Jamison said, you can control the initial, get the customers, and then from there it helps every other aspect. I was kind of worried with paying these sales reps. Oh no, like are people going to cancel? I've had more people call in like from, hey, or the website, or hey, a friend referred me, than I've had cancel. So it's been a great, it's just been a good experience for me, and I would not have a customer base at all without door knocking.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Just a couple last minute takeaways from this call that I got is this is a big, huge numbers game. Knocking doors. You mentioned this earlier. It's a numbers game. You go out for 3 hours, you get rejected. Then the fourth hour, you get 7 calls. It's just the law of numbers. A lot of the can cleaners in our industry, if you listen to this and you're to this point, you should realize that you don't have to go out and knock the doors. You can hire people like Cole has done and have great success that way. So use this software, use the tools that we have developed, take this information and start implementing it into your business. If you don't know how to use the URL system, email us, support@iserviceroutes.com. Let's get you on a training call. Let's get you set up, get some sales reps. 70 people answered Cole's an ad on Indeed. There's not a shortage of people out there. You could find people to knock for you. So you guys did a great job. I love this call, and I look forward to going back and listening to it again. Anything else? Any last minute words from anybody before we end this bad boy?
It's good for me. You said it great, Russ. Yeah, thank you so much.
All righty. Thank you. Over and out. We'll end it right now. Have an absolutely fantastic day.